In this video, we're going to tell you about the top 8 weapons in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Subscribe to the Linus Wilson channel where we give you the secrets to crush Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So I thought about this for a long time. I've completely platinumed the game. I've done all the challenges, all the expansions, everything, completed every quest. And unlike other videos that maybe came out in the first few weeks of Valhalla, there's been a lot of great weapons that have come later than the first few weeks. And I've also fully upgraded all the weapons. So I know what they're like, not just at the base level, but when they are at their max stats level. And you're going to see them at their max stats level in this one. So I've identified 8 that I thought were particularly noteworthy. The first one I want to start out with is the Joyeuse. The Joyeuse is a sword that's associated with Charlemagne, but it's in the Siege of Paris DLC for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So you either have to have the gold edition or the ultimate edition or have bought the season pass for the first year, and then you can get Joyeuse. It's at the Assassin's Bureau in Paris. The 7th best weapon is the Swordfish. So the Swordfish is a two-handed sword, but you only get it by doing the fishing deliveries for your fishing hut in your Ravensthorpe settlement. So you have to build a fishing hut, and then the little boy is going to give you a bunch of fishing deliveries, and those take forever. Oh, forever. You know, I think the fishing deliveries are as hard as completing all the mastery challenges, but boy, the Swordfish is an awesome reward. It's a good sword too. So I mean, I think in terms of all these, that they're all kind of flashy. I kind of like the flashy ones. You know, if you're talking in terms of the raw stats, usually there's not a huge difference between the raw stats for these weapons, but some are just way cooler than others. For number 6, I would say Noden's Arc, right? Noden's Arc is a hunter's bow, which you can only get after you get Excalibur, which is also on this list, but Noden's Arc. Once you have Excalibur, this is an Isu bow, and it lights up. It does have a perk that is okay. The farther you are, the more damage it does. But really, it's not about the perks. It's just about how cool it looks, and it's not about its stats. And it's just that it's a really cool Isu weapon. And so basically all the Isu weapons did make it on this list, but not necessarily at the top. And I just want to emphasize, like, Noden's Arc, this is something that nobody got until many, many months after Assassin's Creed launch, because it was so hard to find. You had to... So if you see a video that was posted like a month after Assassin's Creed launched, nobody had Noden's Arc. Nobody knew about Noden's Arc. It took a lot of digging for the community to find Noden's Arc and figure out how to actually get it. So you have to go to this lake in the northernmost lake in England. It is a kind of big lake shaped like Singapore deliberately, because there is a Singapore office, and there's an island where the Singapore office is in the real Singapore for Ubisoft. There's an Ubisoft Singapore office. That island has a really big iron mound, and you can only destroy that iron mound if you hit it with Excalibur at sunset. Thanks to Axis the Animus for translating Isu so we could figure that out. Number 5 on this list is another Isu weapon. It's Mjolnir. That is Thor's hammer. Very hard to get too, because with Mjolnir, you need to kill all the daughters of Lyrian, get all the parts of the armor set, and to get the final part of the armor set, you have to kill the whole Order of the Ancients in England, and then once you have the whole armor set, you have to equip it and go to Norway to pick it up. Northern Norway, and it's sticking out of a rock. Otherwise, you can't pick it up if you're not wearing the whole armor set. But it's a really cool weapon. It shoots out thunder when you hit people. It's great for stunning. The only downside with Mjolnir is it doesn't have a great range, right? So just in general, the shorter range weapons are just not as good, not as effective in combat, but Mjolnir is really cool. So if you play with Mjolnir, more power to you, because it looks awesome. Number 4 is the Norse Gael bow. Not a lot of people, I think about the Norse Gael bow, but boy is it OP. And this is the best bow in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and it's the highest ranked bow on my list. This is just a light bow, but in this case, it's the perk. Now, it's a nice looking bow, but the perk is what makes it so good. So it shoots out this poison cloud, which not just poisons the person you hit, but other people around, other opponents around, and you're bound to do it. It's supposed to shoot the poison when you hit their weak points, but because it's a light bow, you can spam it like a machine gun, and light bows are really great for close-in combat, right? So instead of using your melee weapon, back up a few paces, use your light bow, get a few arrows in them, and you're probably going to poison them, and you've got a decent range if you're doing river raids or the like, that you can do a lot of damage really quickly with the light bow, and this one is super effective. You get the Norse Gael bow by just going to Dublin in the Wrath of the Druids DLC. So you need the Gold Edition or the Ultimate Edition or the Season Pass or the Wrath of the Druids expansion to get this. And once you go to Dublin with Azar, the one-eyed merchant, it should just pop in your inventory. So by far, it's the easiest one to get, and you can start Wrath of the Druids, I think anytime, but, it's a power level 55 region. But since you don't actually have to get it yourself, you just have to go to Dublin, you don't have to do any fighting, you can just start Wrath of the Druids, get the Norse Gael bow, and go on your merry way. Number 3 is Excalibur, right? This is another Isu weapon, right? Just like Noden's Arc and Mjolnir. Excalibur is really hard to get. There's these secret tablets. There's 11 secret tablets all throughout England that you have to hunt down. Very easy to miss most of these tablets. And then you go to this cave, which is just west of Stonehenge, and the cave will take you underneath Stonehenge in Hamtunscire, and there you can insert the 11 tablets and pull Excalibur out of the stone, and you're good to go. And then once you have Excalibur, you can go up north and get Noden's Arc. Alright, number 2 on the list is our final Isu weapon, and that's Gungnir. So I used to think Gungnir was the best weapon in the game, but like I said, a lot of things came later, maybe as much as 6 months, 10 months from the launch, that you couldn't get, and Gungnir, when the game started, was the best weapon. And you can only get Gungnir in the cave in Norway that you go to very late in the game. But I've got a video about how to break into that cave by glitching into that cave as low level as level 13, and you can do it without any combat and get Gungnir and play with the second best weapon in the game without fighting anybody to win it. But to get the best weapon, you have to do a bit of fighting. And the best weapon is another spear. So Gungnir is Odin's spear, and what makes Gungnir so great is that it has this extended reach. It has a force field around it, and so nobody can basically touch you when you're jabbing them with Gungnir. But there's another spear that is even better, that is even shinier than the Isu weapons, and it's the pink spear called Bolg. And this is some mythical spear in Irish folklore, and to get this spear, you have to hunt down all the Children of Danu in the Wrath of the Druids. But the good thing is that, there aren't that many in the Wrath of the Druids. It's nothing like what you have to go through to get Mjolnir. And to be honest, I think it's easier than getting Excalibur. And since Wrath of the Druids is a power level 55, you ought to be able to get that fairly early if you play Wrath of the Druids early in your playthrough. What makes Bolg so good is its perk, right? So if you do 3 fast attacks, whether Bolg is your primary weapon or your secondary weapon, say you have heavy dual wield and you can hold 2 two-handed weapons, then you will stun the enemy. And once your foe is stunned, they are defenseless. And once they are defenseless, you can kill them. You can either do a stun attack or or just another fast attack, and they're probably going to be finished off. So I think if you have 3 of these weapons, you're going to be unstoppable. And quite frankly, I think you can get Gungnir, Bolg, and the Norse Gael bow very early in your playthrough. You can get Gungnir and the Norse Gael before power level 50, and you probably be power level 70 by the time that you get the Bolg, and basically you're going to roll through all your foes after that. Subscribe to the Linus Wilson channel. We give you the secrets to crush Assassin's Creed Valhalla.